Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Successful Minds with Patricia Baronowski-Schneider is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider.
Hey, are you looking to scale your business from 5 figures to 6 figures or 6 figures to 7 figures? If you are, I have the perfect thing for you. What I want you to do today is I want you to go download a book. This book is going to take you through my 3-pillar system. It's 100% free. All you have to do is go to growfast.cash. I say again, go to growfast.cash and you're going to be able to download my free international best-selling book, which is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. You can take that book. It's going to help you scale your business to the next level. Again, go download it. Be good, be brief, be gone. Growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. Enjoy.
Hello, welcome back to Successful Minds. I'm your host, Patty Baronowski-Schneider. Today I'm joined by Jake Crossman, a health influencer. So welcome, Jake. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. The quick synopsis is a long time ago, I started in sports broadcasting. When I was about 17, I started working for ESPN. Nice. And then throughout that process, I thought I was going to be in TV forever. I worked my way literally to the Super Bowl. And then COVID hit, kind of changed how we did TV. Right. I wasn't driving with it anymore. I was stressed. I was anxious. And I found CBD in that process. Mm-hmm. Really wanted to start offering people CBD. And so I, left my job in TV, started the CBD business, USA Medical. And then I found TikTok as a great channel for explaining CBD. Right. And through that, as more people had more health questions, I wanted to have more health answers. So I continued my education and my research to really become a health expert. And now I'm a health influencer with about 1 million followers on TikTok, and USA Medical is a global CBD and wellness brand. That's kind of the super short synopsis, but that's where we're at today.
That's awesome. Now tell me, with your journey to 1 million followers, what were some key strategies or moments that helped you grow your TikTok following to over 1 million? And how do you maintain that growth while staying authentic?
That's a great question. I would say that there was multiple phases to it. The first phase was that I was super lucky with my timing. I believe I was the first person talking about health in the way that I was talking about it on TikTok. And I can say that because I was actually on the app prior to it. It used to be called Musical.ly. That was what TikTok used to be called. Really? And I was already on that app. So as most people don't know that, most people don't know how long that I've been doing this kind of stuff. So I was well positioned to do it. I was lucky with my timing. I spoke with conviction the whole time. And I even look back at some of those old videos. I probably couldn't replicate them today because I was just younger and I was more passionate and I was more like, why don't you get this, type, feelings, which I'm less angry now, like as you get older, you get less angry. But I just think,
I'm the opposite, but go ahead.
Okay. But it's like a bell curve, right? You start angry and you get less and you go down.
And you get to the point you're just like, I don't care, but go ahead.
Yeah, right. I'm in the caring phase now. No, I was really lucky with my timing. I was really convicted and honest about it. And I continually pivoted my content based on what was working. And that's a huge part of what I did that I don't talk about a lot. Just because it was always in health. But if you look at the eras of my TikTok, there was an era of actual TikToks, an era of mental games. Mm-hmm. I had an era of actual interactive games, an era of live interactions, an era of grocery interaction. So it's really had some different moments. The most recent era has been reaction content, reacting to people. But even now TikTok's changing its algorithm, and if they see this is just some insider information, if they see an ad like a watermark from some other channel like Instagram or YouTube, you get immediately like shadow banned, immediately it gets taken down. So yeah, so now that era of reactions is done, and I'm trying to think, do I want to pivot? Do I want to I'm in a moment of change now. So that's TikTok is ever evolving, and social media is ever evolving, and it's a constant uphill battle to keep at it.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're doing is total marketing, because it's kind of like you got to keep, you try stuff. I forget the terminology, but you do like 4 different things. Which one's working? Pivot, you know, and it's like you say with the algorithms, sometimes, you know, you almost think quality over quantity, because, you know, so many people are doing certain things to get tons of, but like I'll give you an example. We posted a video one time for a client, and it was really educational. Nobody cared. We put this crazy trending music in the background. Everybody loved it. But did you, you know, became like a trending video. But did you even care about what we wrote in there? You know, so the algorithms just drive me nuts. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
Well, no, it's a good story, because there's also like an actual decision you have to make of, do I want followers or do I want to do something else, right? And for me, the goal was always to sell CBD at first, but then it was like, well, I'm on the path to, after I got over about 700,000, I was like, I'm on the path to 1 million. I want to get there. So that's when I really started doing videos that were about growing followers. And I saw a huge decline in sales. Like, I wasn't making the same content. I wasn't saying, hey, you should buy this great stuff. You know, like I wasn't being authentic to the purpose of the channel. So, you know, it's like, was it successful? Success is measured however you measure it. And I don't think that era was successful. I think it was my ego drove it, and I wanted it, but it wasn't necessarily successful, you know?
Yeah. No, but I think what you're doing is great, because there's, you know, I always say with the, I always have my pet peeves at the medical industry, because it's not about what's best for you. It's about how much money they can make, where you're actually trying to help people, and people, it's not something that people, nowadays it's getting there, but it's not something people openly talk about.
Right. Well, I think there's way more discussion now, and I think you know, I think my content and other people's content at the time was the first like era of people just saying whatever. Like, and you know, for better or for worse, I think it's good when people just say things, and you have to think about it. Like, it's so easy to never actually think. You know what I mean? Especially with just, you know, how we live now. You don't really have to think all that much, but when someone says something, whether it's right or wrong, it's important that you take a moment to filter it through what you know to be true and you think to be true. And that was important for everybody. So I think we have a lot more shows like yours and shows like this and outlets like this to just talk about things. And, you know, it's whether we're trying to get somewhere or not, just the conversation is what's important.
Yeah, that's what I always say with the podcast. It's not about, you know, drilling your brain or anything. It's just we're having a conversation, and people could take what they want from it or not. You could agree or disagree, and that's totally fine too. We're just having a conversation and sharing.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, I love it.
Now tell us, a certified nutrition insight as a CNC NASM certified nutritionist. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about nutrition, and how do you help the clients overcome them?
You know, I think as a nutritionist, you know, so I'm not a dietitian, right? That is an impressive level of work, and there is the full undergraduate, graduate, PhD, and then there's more on top of that, and then there's continually more every year to be a dietitian. So while that's an impressive amount of work, it's actually a little bit restrictive to be a dietitian, because you have to always work within the board certified framework of medicine. You have to. You've spent your entire life in this world. So there's an insane value in someone like that. But I think there's also value in someone like me, who's a nutritionist, who gets the same information, but I'm not bound by anyone's rules. I can say whatever I want, and I can filter my own thoughts. So that lets me say, look, a dietitian would probably say this, and I have a good understanding of what they would probably say. But I am saying this, and here's why. And I can give a bit more of a holistic insight into things. And so again, I've talked to a lot of dietitians, and a lot of them are very smart. And because of that, they have a bit of an ego, and they're a bit like my way or the highway. And it's funny that, you know, I've actually offered some of them to do lives and do TikTok lives, and they always say no. And their answer, and I'm thinking of one guy in particular, his answer was like, no, you're going to make me look stupid if we do that. And I was like, well, I can't make you look stupid. You can make you look stupid, you know, and that's kind of where we're at with that. But again, massive respect to anyone that does that much schooling, but it's a bit of a handcuff, I think, in the world of holistic health. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Because you are right. They're limited by what they can say.
For sure. Yeah. And, you know, if they say something that's on the fringe, they can literally lose their life's work. You know, it's not like that it's their life's work. So they have to be a certain level of, you know, on the line. They can't cross it ever, you know.
I get it. Now tell us the role of CBD and CBG in health. So you've integrated CBD and CBG therapies into your wellness strategies. So can you explain how the compounds work and their benefits for issues like stress management and overall well-being?
Yeah, that's a great question. CBD was kind of initially marketed as this miracle cure-all for everything. And what's unfortunate is I think cannabinoids as a whole actually do have some potential to be like, look, we're trying to solve a lot of different things here. And there's a reason that we have data that, like, you know, 3,000 years ago in China, they were smoking hemp plants, not cannabis, but hemp, because it has, you know, all the different cannabinoids, very low THC. You know, so we have history and we have data that shows that these cannabinoids can do things that medicine tries to do. So I think CBD was marketed as this cure-all, and it's just not. But what it does do is it's really good for stress, or really good for anxiety, really good for mental relief. You know, if you have that, like, you know if you have it, that like gripping, just like stress, that depression, that anxiety, CBD really does help as a tool to relieve some of that and help you to just feel a little bit, you know. And that's how I got into it. I was stressed and anxious all the time. And I tried CBD for the first time. I'd never smoked, you know, pot or anything like that. But I tried CBD and I was like, wow, I feel better, you know. And that's where USA Medical came from. And then CBG is something that I claim that we discovered as what it does. We didn't discover the cannabinoid, but we were the first company to sell a CBG oil. And CBG does a lot of the things that CBD was promised to do. It's a very powerful anti-inflammatory. This is all proven by research. It's a very powerful neuroprotectant, so it helps protect your brain, boost brain chemicals. There's tons of research for Alzheimer's and dementia. There's fringe research for glaucoma that can help relieve pressure in the eye. There's fringe research for Crohn's disease. I've seen people with Crohn's say they don't have it anymore. They're in remission from it with just my CBG. And again, this is all speculative, and this is all, but there's a lot of research to back what I'm saying here. And so so what do? We say, well, okay, let's combine them, CBD, CBG, we'll make that oil. And that's been our bestseller for the last 2 years, just because everyone that takes it, it's one of those things that you feel it no matter what. Not necessarily like there's no high, there's no psychoactive effects, but if you're tired, you feel more energy. If you're in pain, you feel a little bit better. And you know, it's not speculative. It's you take it, you feel it. And that's why I think we keep reselling it. So our CBD oil has been really kind of something that I've integrated. I take it every day. And I just think, like, once you start taking it, it's hard not to want to keep taking it. Right.
You know, it's crazy because I don't know much about, you know, all the variations, but like even with sleep, I suffered insomnia for decades, and the doctors are always giving you, and I had tried like CBD gummies. Wasn't cutting it, but then I, you know, Googling, and somebody recommended CBN, and mixing the two of them, I'm literally 7 hours out cold. And I'm like, you know, here I was taking every prescription drug, because like I said, the doctors are about how much money they can make. None of it was helping me sleep. Now every night, I mean, and I'm not in a coma. I get up, I have to go to the bathroom, whatever, but I get a good 7 hours of sleep every single night now.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned CBN. We're launching a CBN product here soon. We have it already in our soft gels. We have a broad spectrum soft gels that I recommend for sleep. But yeah, I've heard more and more people talk about it. The reason we avoided it initially was because CBN actually comes from THC. It's a derivative of THC. So we were really hard on like avoiding THC, making sure it's safe, making sure that we can sell it everywhere. But now that CBN is a widely accepted cannabinoid, and it's, you know, the FDA hasn't said anything about it. It's not on any kind of schedule. We are adding that product now. So I'm really happy you brought that up. It's a really cool.
I don't know anything about it. It just helps me sleep.
Very cool.
Cool stuff. Now tell us, what unique elements set your holistic approach to health apart from traditional methods, and how do you integrate mental and physical wellness into one comprehensive plan?
I think for a while, I also do health coaching, and I try to sell my coaching as something unique, and that's what every coach does. Is I do this unique 10-step, 10-pillar, 3 keys, thing. And what I realized is, as I was coaching within my unique framework, I kept saying the same few things. And what I realized was, like, health is not about uniqueness or complexity. Health is about simplicity and making it as easy as possible and taking literal baby steps towards health. So one thing that I tell everybody is holistic health. That word, it's everything, right? It's how you breathe. It's how you eat. It's how you sit. It's how you think. It's everything, because everything plays into your health. And when I say baby steps, it's like you're not going to fix anything quickly because there's so much to fix. And I know that sounds daunting, but that's the human condition. That's our life. That's all we have to do. It's you don't have much else to do other than just be better, right? Yeah. So, I think steps that you can take, that anyone can take actionably right now. And you mentioned sleep. I mean, sleep is so important. Getting enough sleep is make it cold, make it dark, relax your brain. That's my 3 steps for sleep. And it's that simple. If the room is cold, it's truly dark, or you wear a sleep mask and you're relaxed, you're going to sleep. And the CBN and CBD definitely help with that. But all these different things, breath, mental, it's about taking a few minutes just to breathe. How often do we take moments to breathe? We do it all day, right? We're like, oh, how come no, take a moment, breathe. It's awesome. Take a moment and just think, what's in my brain? What do I need to think about? I promise we all have a backlog of things to think about. So just take moments. It's not about radical shifts. It's about moments and those small baby steps. So hope that kind of helps start the answer. But it's a big answer to,
yeah,
help.
For sure. Because the brain, it's tricky because years ago, I went to a hypnotist when I couldn't sleep. And you don't realize how much is running in your brain when you're not, like, a subconsciously, you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And she was like, within 3 visits, just had me, I had apparently all these, I guess I was a single mom back then, and I had all this guilt that I wasn't doing the right thing, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, my kids are older now, but that was still what was going through my head repeatedly, not letting me sleep. Like, once she had me, like, release that and realize that it was okay, I was sleeping like a baby until more crap in my life started. And here I am not sleeping again. But it is true. Your brain is always, so getting a way to relax, just, de-stress, get it out. I'm sure that plays a huge role.
Yeah. And I mean, think about how much you think about before bed. That's like our brains start to go before bed. Well, if you just took the time to do that during the day, which sometimes we call meditation, sometimes we call prayer, sometimes whatever, it's taking those moments to just let your brain do that before bed, right? So that when you get to bed, you're relaxed. You don't have that going on. You're either going to take the time to meditate, or your brain's going to make you take the time to meditate. It's not an if question. So take the time before bed, and you'll be a lot more relaxed going into it.
Looking to grow your business beyond 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures plus? What I want you to do is go download this book. The title is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. It will help you grow your business past 5, 6, and 7 figure. Go download the book today. Growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and download the book for absolutely free.
Yeah, because you'd be surprised. We're all so busy doing stuff all day long that you don't take that minute, because it's funny when, I could just talk and having dinner and just say, oh, I had this phone call, or so-and-so called me, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden the next morning be like, how'd you sleep? Didn't sleep, because that's still in my head, because I never took a time to process it because I was too busy with everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I like playing poker. I enjoy going out and playing poker, but poker is one of those things, that it ends up being more negative than positive just before bed, because you think about all those mistakes you made, even if you did well. And it's like, I'm trying to eliminate things now from my life that, cause any extra mental just kind of pain. It's like, because anything that net causes you more pain than good, it's like, what are we doing here? What's the point of this? Even if there's some hits of dopamine throughout it, it's just not worth it. So getting rid of that extra kind of just pain in your life is crucial.
Yeah, no, I get it. Pick and choose your battles, right?
Exactly.
Now tell us, with 100 million plus views across social platforms, how do you balance providing accurate health information with the fast-paced, trend-driven world of social media?
Yeah, I mean, and there's a principle called the Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle, and it's that, the 20% kind of does the 80%. It's a rule that works with a lot of things, and it works with my content. 20% of the content is what really has 80% of the views, and that actually Pareto's out, where it's like, 2 or 3 videos have the 30+ million views. So that's kind of where the bulk comes from. But I think I've had a couple videos that I was the most convicted and the most sincere about, and those are the ones that did the absolute most. Even today, old videos, like I did a video on just a breath work exercise, how to open your lungs. Right. That video still gets thousands of views a day. I mean, it's still tons of comments a day. So it's like the videos that I made that were really convicted are the ones that got the insane amount of views. And then the rest of them are just me trying to do that again, to replicate the conviction. But, it's like we're only deeply convicted about a few things, and that's just how the content works too. It's like only a couple pieces are going to really work. Unless you're a massive influencer, that's just everything you post, everyone wants to see what you have to say. That was never me. I'm saying, very interesting health things, and people are interested in them until they're not. And that's just kind of the nature of my content. So how do I keep doing it? I don't know. I don't all the time. There are long periods of it not working, but that's the nature of the wave of social media.
Yeah, well, still people actually are taking notice, and that's a good thing.
Exactly.
So now tell us, as an Emmy Award-winning Super Bowl crew manager, what lessons did you learn from working in such a high-pressure environment, and how do you apply those skills to your consulting work today?
Yeah, people talk about today's our Super Bowl. That was my Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It was actually the Super Bowl. So that was crazy. I'm very lucky that happened. I wasn't supposed to be there. It was because COVID actually. We believe COVID started at the Super Bowl because my manager's manager got very, very sick, and they were like, "Jake, can you be in Miami tomorrow, to help because everyone's sick?" I was like, "Yes, I can be in Miami." So I spent 3 weeks there and worked on the Super Bowl. But again, it was because people got sick, and it was right place, right time. So I had to adapt and learn and work hard to make sure that I fulfilled what I thought I could do there. And, that was when people say it's a team effort, I was a very, very, very small cog in the massive team effort of the Super Bowl. But, I think what's important is that everybody at that level, there's no question of should you be here. There's no question when you're literally at the Super Bowl, nobody's asking, hey, do you belong here? Who let you be here? So there's a massive amount of respect. There's a massive amount of just we're here to do our job really well. And that's a unique atmosphere. I've been in a lot of high pressure situations where some people might just not care. It doesn't affect them. Their life doesn't change whether it goes well or not. But at the Super Bowl, it's again literally the Super Bowl. So it was a very unique experience, and it was just it's almost given me a bit of perspective of things can be excellent, and I get frustrated at people and my teams and my employees when things aren't excellent because I've seen it. I know people can be excellent. So it was a unique experience that I think colors a lot of how I see the world.
Nice. Now, you've worked with over 2,500 clients and gained massive visibility online. So what are your tips for creating impactful, relatable content that cuts through the noise in the health and wellness space?
I mean, it's taking what clients say. It's what people are asking. I mean, you'd be shocked how many people say the same things. And, the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes of every time I meet somebody, I just let them talk. What do you have? What's going on? And so many stories are the exact same. It actually very, very similar. So the content tries to just resemble what people are actually dealing with. I've never found that gatekeeping is good. It's not if you want to learn how to do this, book a call. It's no, here's how to do it. If you want more information, let's talk. I'd love to talk. But here's how to do it. And if you can figure it out on your own, do it. That's great. That's awesome. It's better if you can figure out health on your own. But I just try to be the guide. I try to offer a really, really decent post, what's it called? lamppost. I don't know, like a really obvious kind of roadmap of where to go. And if you need help, I am absolutely happy to help. And people have unique, I mean, I hate to say that everything's the same, because people have incredible uniqueness and incredible nuance to why they're somewhere. But it doesn't necessarily matter how we got here. What matters is how we move on. So I try to simplify health the most. I think there are some good coaches who are very good at like making a big reason for how you got here and a big reason. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I really think like, look, however you got here, I'm happy to listen to it, and I want to talk about it. I want to understand. But ultimately, you're here on this phone call because you want to get better, right? You're not here because you want to talk about your problems. So let's work on getting better while we talk about our problems and while we fix those things. So that's kind of just my goal for content.
That's nice. That's a nice, unique approach, because you're right. Some of the other people just want it. Like I've known people to go to therapy, I don't know what you want to call them, psychology, whatever, for years, because they're just milking the money. And it's like, but I don't see you any better, so it's...
That's a great point. I actually work very closely with a licensed counselor, and it's interesting because in therapy, in counseling, you are like not allowed to tell someone what to do. Like actually, you're not allowed. You have to let them continually get to it, and that's valuable. But at some point, we gotta like, as a coach, I get to say, "Don't you think it's this?" And they're like, whoa, it is that, and it's like, that's me cutting through the noise and the BS of counseling. It's like, counseling is not hard. Counseling is listening, right? And what's hard is listening without, it is hard to listen and not give opinion. It is actually hard to do that, but I get to listen and then give an opinion as a coach. And I think what's great is like, my opinion is never something that I'm creating. It's like, I'm listening to you speak, and all I say is like, didn't you just say this, this, and this? Why do you think this, this, and this? And they're like, whoa, I did say that. I didn't connect that, and that's all I'm trying to do. I think it's just the fact that I'm not a counselor or therapist allows me to be a little bit more just cut through the noise on things.
I mean, that's perfect, because some people need that outside perspective, because you never see things yourself. You need somebody on the outside.
We got the blinders on.
Yeah. And if someone can't or just won't tell you, then you're just throwing money out the window. So I think what you're doing is awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, you talk about the mindset necessary for sustainable health transformation. So can you share some mindset shifts that have been game changers for your clients?
Yeah. I actually worked with a coach before I became a coach. I worked with someone very closely for a while, kind of just getting my own life in order. Because when I first started when I first was doing health coaching and things weren't working, I started working with a coach of my own, and he's like, hey, you got a lot of problems, man. We got to fix some stuff before you think you can fix. And that's what we do. And I actually, I knew people in college that like want to be counselors, and they have more baggage than anyone I know. And it's like, well, isn't that what we want to just go fix other people and never deal with our own crap? So for me, it was like, okay, let's deal with my own crap for a while. And for me, it was the mindset shift, what he called, and people talk about this in a lot of spaces, limiting beliefs, right? What are the things that we believe about ourselves or believe about the world that limit our abilities in the world? And it's incredible how many I have and everyone has, even to this day, the things that, and it's kind of the Matrix unraveling of like, there is no spoon. It's like, if you think you can jump, or I guess in our worldview, we think we can't just jump 12 feet. That's not possible. I can't do it. Well, as long as you believe you can't do it, you can't do it, right? I know that's an extreme example, and people would say you simply can't do it. Okay, but you believe that, and that's what a limiting belief is. It's just, you literally believe something to be true, so therefore it is, and I know the jump thing is silly, but we do that about very, very serious things where we'll say things like, we'll hear of someone making like $10,000 a month. Like, okay, I could never make that kind of money. Why? That's an instant limit that limits how you're going to do things, and there's examples of that throughout everywhere in life. So whenever someone has a serious health problem, there's typically a limiting belief attached to it that is keeping them from getting healthy.
Right. Yeah, I've heard people who say, they might be sick or whatever. Oh, well, my grandmother had it, my mom had it, blah, blah, blah. It's just inevitable. Or
Yeah.
someone, they're overweight in the family. Well, it's just in the genes.
Yeah.
Like you say, if that's what you think, then that's what's going to happen. I mean, you have to, there's two sides of a family. Just because it's in one side doesn't mean it's going to be in yours too. But
exactly.
I agree.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Now, how do you help entrepreneurs and businesses in the health and wellness space build powerful brands? And what common mistakes do you see them making in their strategies?
At this point, there are if I went back 5 years and I was like, I'm just going to make a CBD company, I probably wouldn't do it again. There are so many just companies out there. And of course my goal was to be the best and sell the best and do the best, but whose isn't really? If you're getting into business and your goal is not to be the best, you're going to fail faster than anybody else. You know what I mean? So of course my goal was to be the best, but that doesn't mean much in a huge space. And I'm lucky that we've carved out a bit of a name in the space. I think USA Medical has become a bit of a name globally as well, which helps. But if someone is starting a health brand if someone wants to do something in the health space, and there's really 3 buckets to life. There's relationships, there's wealth, and there's health, right? So doing something in the health space, what are you convicted about? Seriously, what do you really care about? And the more you can get specific about what you really care about, like if you want to sell vitamins, why? What do you really want to do? Well, I actually really want to help people gain muscle. Cool, that's more specific. What in that do you want to help them eat better? Do you want to help them just take the right supplements? Do you want to help with a workout program? Well, I'd love to work with them in the gym. Oh, and get specific, right? That's what I'm like. The more specific you can be, and this is an Alex Hormozi idea. This is not an original idea, but the more niche you can get, the riches are in the niches, is what he says. And it's just at this point, with the mega giants that exist in the world, you're not going to be a brand. You're just not. You're going to be somebody who people really trust in one specific niche, and then you can grow from there. But yeah, I would not start a general direct-to-consumer brand today.
No, I mean, you're totally making sense, because that's one of my problems too. Is I'm all over the place with what I do, IRP or marketing, digital, blah, blah, blah. And people always say you got to pick one, but I'm like, I do it all. It is hard though, because you need to focus on just one. So I get it. Well,
I heard in that exact thing you just said, I once heard a story of a businessman talking to a coach who said, I have 400 different businesses. He has different CEOs and a massive Excel sheet, all the businesses and what's the finances. And the coach said, how easy would it be if you just ran one of those? And he's like, oh man, dude, I would make so much money if I just ran one of them. And he's like, why don't you do that? Okay, sold all of them, ran one, now he's successful. And it's it really is the more specific and niche you can get. And I struggle with this today. I think CBG is amazing and I want everyone to use it. And that's a struggle for me, because it's as someone who knows business, I know it'd be better if I was CBG only works for moms of 10-year-olds, and I'd be really specific and explain why it's so good for moms of 10-year-olds, but it's good for everybody. So it's hard for me to do that with this product. And I have other ventures where we're more specific, and other portfolio companies that are more specific. But this USA Medical, this project is it's for everybody, and that's what it has to be.
Yeah, I get it. Now tell us, with the rapid changes in both the health industry and digital media, where do you see the future of these two areas heading, and what opportunities should individuals and businesses be focusing on?
Wow, that's a good question. We are in a tumultuous time in many different ways. It's I don't think anything is stable right now, and I can't give an answer of what. If someone's like, what do I do right now? I don't know, honestly. If you're not doing something right now, I don't know exactly what you should start doing right now. I think there are many things that could be better in the world, and if you just pick one of them and you try something you're passionate about and you try to just make it better, I think that's a great place to start for anybody. I'll give you an example. I'm going to be really vague here because it's kind of a fresh scar, but there's this guy that wanted to reinvent a product that a lot of people like. And he reinvented it, and he spent a lot of money on this prototype, on this thing, on this whatever. And he sent it to me and other people to try. And, he's launched, he's live, he's trying to sell them. And I helped him with a lot of content, about it. I was like, let me try it so I can make sure I believe in it before I give any any content, before I try to sell it for you. And I genuinely disliked it as what it is, but his concept was genius. And I have it right there. I'm not going to show you, but I have a schematic that I drew. I was like, I think this would actually work way better. It'd be cheaper. It'd be easier to produce. And I actually think that there's people that I know that could produce this right now, and no one's doing it. And he snubbed me. He's like, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah blah blah. And that's fine. And it's that knee-jerk reaction is fine. But I think when you're not open to feedback and you're not open to actually what is better, because that's the goal, right? That's where we started this whole conversation, is how do I make something better? You get caught up in I spent so much money on the prototype, or I did this, without seeing you took an insanely important step to what is the best or what would be better. But we get caught on that step of whatever we spent the money or wherever we are at. So if you continually look to make something better, I think there's no reason why you won't be successful doing that.
Oh, very, very nice. Now, anything else you want to add that we didn't cover or that you're working on? I mean, you talked a little bit about it, but anything else?
I'm working on a lot of things, but I think what's important right now is that I'm still doing health coaching. I love talking to people. I've changed how I do it a lot. Now it's pretty much just one hour health coaching session that we try to solve a lot of problems and really present you with a roadmap forward, instead of like I said, I don't like 90-day programs and frameworks, and I don't like it. So at this point, I have boiled down what I do to about an hour. And if anyone's like, oh, that sounds like something I really want to do, usamedical.com is the website, and I'm happy. My actual email's on the website, so you can send me an email and we can chat and we can move forward from there.
Very, very nice. Well, thank you again for being on the show. Again, that was Jay Crossman. So thanks for listening to Successful Minds with Patty B. Never miss an episode by subscribing. So thank you again.
Hey, we all want to scale our business. Hey, I have the answer for you today to help you do that. If you're looking to scale from 5, 6, even 7 figures and beyond, book called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. I'm going to give it to you for free. All you have to do is type in growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and you can download the book for absolutely free. I hope the book helps you this year. Take your business to the next level. Again, go grab the book, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. I wish you the best and grow, scale, and win.
Thank you for listening to Successful Minds with your host, Patricia Baronowski-Schneider. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear God.